today we've got a bit of archive footage from 2015. It's a little solo. It's not the best solo I ever played, nor is it the worst, but it's got a bit of a story behind it, and that's really the reason why I wanted to share it with you today. 2015 was just one of those years for me when I just couldn't put a foot wrong. So many amazing things happened. I started the year by doing a 4-part series on big band drumming for Rhythm magazine. Those videos are still on YouTube. Elsewhere you can view them. Maybe one or two of you have seen them before. And then we did a 20th anniversary concert of my big band at Cadogan Hall in London, which was a real highlight for me. Then the following month, my great friend Ian Palmer invited me and my big band to participate in a drum concert in Northampton in the UK, where the special guest was Steve Gadd. How amazing was that? I actually managed to convince him to play a big band arrangement of his classic from Steely Dan, Aja, which was just amazing. Later in the year, I did my first trip to Music China. For the drum company with whom I was then affiliated. It was just one of those years where everything just seemed to fall right for me. In between all this, I was doing lots of gigging with some great bands and artists, some of whom I still work with to this day. But all of this was planned. None of it happened by accident. You know, some of these events in particular were planned more than a year in advance. But then in the late November of 2015, something came right out of the blue, something completely unexpected. And that's where this solo comes from. I found myself the opening headline act on the main stage of that year's London Drum Show. Now, being a main stage headliner at international drum shows normally depends on you being part of a massive band that sells multi-platinum albums and fills arenas all over the world, or having played on some classic recordings of the past, or being the latest Instagram drum sensation. All of these I am none of, okay? There's only about 2 or 3 jazz stroke big band drummers in the global drum community who are probably considered big enough names to headline on international drum shows. And neither one of them is me. So what happened? How did I end up doing this? Well, what happened was the legendary Harvey Mason had an accident at home and ended up being unable to travel. And so it was very short notice. It happened only about 48 hours before the London Drum Show was scheduled to take place. So they didn't have time to fly in an international. It had to be a British drummer. And there were a few of us in the running. I had a great year. I placed 5th in the jazz category of Rhythm magazine's poll and done a lot of amazing things that I mentioned earlier. So my profile was pretty high, but there were far bigger name drummers in the running for this appearance, subbing for Harvey Mason, than me. So how did I get the gig? Well, I'll tell you. Somebody, a very close industry friend and ally of mine, had the ear of the London Drum Show organisers. And it wasn't that I was bigger or better than anybody else, far from it, but I had the right connection and he really lobbied for me. So I got the phone call ahead of some absolutely fabulous friends and colleagues from the British drum scene who would have done a marvellous job, but it came my way. So what is the moral of this? Is do your networking, make friends with the right people, stay friends with them, be sincere, don't be a professional nice guy who smiles at everybody to their face and talks them down behind their back. Work hard at your playing, work hard at your industry connections, and you never know, next time that space goes begging on a headline slot on a drum show, you could be the person who gets the call, okay? Well, here's the solo, and as I say, I think it's all right. It's just kind of solid 7 out of 10. I think my stick control's better now than it was 9 years ago. I know my weight control is better, but I hope you like it and that you enjoyed the anecdote as to how it all came about. So come in 2015, here's me at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning in November at London's Olympia at the London Drum Show. See you next time.